Welcome to Hornbill TV's Primetime with Ngullie, ladies and gentlemen. So we have got some very interesting updates for you today. Before that, so who will it be this time? Before we go into the real stories, we'll just talk a little bit about something. So we've been really thinking about what you guys have been thinking also too since the election results were declared. So who will it be this time? Yanthongo Patton or Jacob Zimomi? I think it's already very clear to you now that Nefirio will remain the chief minister even this time too. That's a settled matter. At least for now, yeah, that's how it looks. So the conversation seems to have diverted sharply into another interest, the post of Deputy Chief Minister. Ever since the Nagaland Legislative Assembly results were declared, speculations had been rife in regard to who would become the next Chief Minister of Nagaland. The 14th Nagaland Legislative Assembly is scheduled to be sworn in on March 7, Tuesday. That's tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. The process of forming a new government has started, and with it, the reported race for cabinet posts among the political parties and their representatives have also started. So let me give you a news update that we received just a little while ago, so that you may stop arguing with people on Facebook. According to what we are hearing, Yanthongo Patton will remain the Deputy Chief Minister of Nagaland, or that's what the PJP's national spokesperson Ngullie has said. He said it earlier. Ngullie, who is also in charge of the Nagaland PJP, said that Patton will remain the Deputy Chief Minister and there will be no changes in this. But you have to be very careful with this information right now, because although this information is from a reliable source, I think you'll have to wait for the official statement from the government in this regard, or even better, you can check it out on TV in regard to the portfolios that will be allocated, as you will see during the swearing in ceremony. Earlier, there had been extreme speculations in the local news media and of course on social media, especially Facebook, about Patton and Zimomi, who will be the next Deputy Chief Minister of Nagaland. Suddenly, for the first time, I think Nefirio wasn't the point of conversation here. Both Patton and Zimomi are the senior most leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and they were the obvious choices for the party's top positions in the NDPP and BJP alliance. So the conversation was centered around these two. Both have seen big battles and have emerged with big victories, both of them. Yanthongo Patton took 16,641 votes to beat his closest opponent, JDU candidate Senchumul Lutha, who got 7,800 votes for the 37th GE Assembly seat in Wokha district. I think you already know that. Patton's share of votes was about 67.83% of votes from the constituency, while Lotha's percentage was somewhere 31.79%, yeah, somewhere in the region. Elsewhere in Gaspani 1 Assembly constituency, Jacob Zimomi swept the competition away. He polled 32,037 votes, securing one of the biggest vote shares in the history of Nagaland's electoral records. At 55.95% of votes from the constituency, Zimomi took more than half the vote of the entire area, the biggest by any candidate in Nagaland by rough assessment, if I recall. So, by comparison, his nearest opponent, Pushika Aumi, polled only 11,941 votes, or 20.85% of the votes there. So that's a serious cup of tea if you are not only fighting for candidates in one constituency, but also pulling the carpet from right under their feet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a big win. So there you are. Both Patton and Zimomi are two senior leaders of the PJP, each with undoubted influence in their constituency, state, and also in the party. So it is easy to see why there would be so much heated deliberations that focus mostly on the two, especially in regard to the post of Deputy Chief Minister. Let's just wait for the government to form, and I think we will have a clearer picture in regard to which MLA will get which portfolio. I think it'll be very exciting. So let's check out the top news picks of the day. The Mokokchung police have arrested 9 persons in connection with the alleged abduction and subsequent murder of a youth from Chungtia village in Mokokchung district earlier in February. The newly elected members of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly took their oath of office during a special session in Meghalaya Assembly in Shillong on Monday. We have the latest update on the Chungtia murder case, ladies and gentlemen. The Mokokchung police have arrested 9 persons in connection with the alleged abduction and subsequent murder of a youth from Chungtia village in Mokokchung district, which reportedly happened earlier in February around 22. The body of Imkong Chipa Kichu was found on February 22nd in the jungles between Satia and New Kem in that area, Mokokchung police said. The police said in a statement that was given to the media, a copy of which we received here on Monday, that 9 persons have been arrested in the course of investigation since the SIT probe started earlier. The press release from the Mokokchung police named 9 persons who the police arrested during the course of investigations. According to the police, the special investigation team set up by the authorities had been conducting a thorough investigation into the case. The police said it had been collecting and analyzing technical evidence, including CDR and CCTV footages. The press release listed the names of the arrested persons, ladies and gentlemen. They are Chupa Nishet, 31 years, Mia Libden, 49 years, Chip Dak Mayar, 28 years, Tongpang Tsuba, 40 years, Lipok Tamse, 28 years, Imti Zachet, 27 years, Supong Sinap, 35 years, Tamse Akam, 32 years, and Bendang Sinap, 29 years. These are the persons that the police said they have arrested, and this was given out in a press statement to the media, one of which a copy of which we received today. All of them are from Chungtia village, the Mokokchung police said. The police said the SIT had summoned and examined more than 30 people till the filing of this report, the police report that is. So based on technical and other evidence, the SIT has arrested 9 persons in connection with the case, the additional superintendent of police and PRO for Mokokchung police said. Further, the police conducted a crime scene reconstruction and recovered various evidences from the crime scene, including what the police said was a suspected weapon, a wooden stick of about 3 feet that had blood stains on it. Further investigation is ongoing, the police said in its updates. Let's check out the next news. The newly elected members of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly took their oath of office during a very special ceremony in the Meghalaya Assembly in Shillong on Monday, ladies and gentlemen. The oath was administered by Pro Tem Speaker Timothy Shira. Of the 59 MLAs in the Assembly, 3 are women. The Si Hong seat is vacant due to the death of UDP candidate HTR Lingdo, who passed away recently during the start of the elections. The National People's Party's National President Conrad K. Sangma had on March 6 highlighted the achievements of the National People's Party-led MDA government. He said that the same steps would be taken to ensure growth across all sectors, including job creation, tourism development and agriculture, which will be the government's top priority for the new tenure. Elsewhere from across the world, the mysterious and unexplained wave of poisoning of schoolgirls in various Iranian cities continue. This unexplained wave of poisoning has so far affected more than 900 girls, according to reports that we have been receiving today. So about 900 girls have been poisoned in Iran, and this has raised concerns and doubt against extremists there. Reports are linking the event to extreme Islamists as well as those who are bent on revenge attacks to prevent girls from attending schools. The reports also speculated about government supporters who might be avenging women and girls for the widespread protests sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini earlier. The first known incident of a schoolgirl being poisoned occurred on November 30 in the city of Qom, which when about 50 students fell ill and were taken to the hospital. According to available media reports, the girls reported a pungent smell of rotten tangerines, also chlorine or maybe cleaning agents. They then suffered from headaches, dizziness, respiratory problems, and nausea. That's what we heard. Some of them even experienced temporary paralysis of their limbs, according to media reports. The Iranian media had reported that the poisoning of a schoolgirl in Qom was followed by at least 58 schools in 8 provinces and in the capital city of Tehran and 2 other cities. So interestingly, Iranian Deputy Education Minister Yonis Pani admitted that the attacks were intentional but did not involve military grade but publicly available chemicals. Pratyot Kishore Deparma, chief of the Tipra Indigenous Progressive Regional Alliance, or the Tipra Mota, said on Sunday that his party would be willing to talk to the Bharatiya Janata Party only if the latter approve an honorable constitutional solution to the Tripura issue. So Deparma, whose 2-year-old party won 13 seats in the assembly elections held on February 27th and became the second largest party in the 60-member assembly of Tripura, was addressing speculations that he was in talks with the BJP. If the BJP speaks about an honorable constitutional solution, his party too will speak, he said. Otherwise, the Tiprasa will never agree to the present format in Tripura, he said. The indigenous people need their rights for survival and existence. Deparma, who is of Tripura's erstwhile royal family, wrote on his Facebook page on Sunday. He was responding to Assam Chief Minister and BJP leader Himanta Biswa Sarma's statement that his party would be willing to talk to Tipra Mota, the organization, provided it dropped its demand for an independent Tipra land. For those of you who might not know, the astounding rise of the Tipra organization in Tripura's politics has baffled political pundits and voters alike. It was just a couple of years ago that the Tipra organization was a social organization, not political. It was a social organization in Tripura. Now it is the largest opposition party in Tripura's legislative assembly in just about 2 years. The objective of the organization is to carve out a new state for 19 indigenous tribes of Tripura under Articles 2 and 3 of the Constitution of India. The Tipra has no official political statement in regard to its socio-political reaffirmations, but most observers believe that, and I think this is a lesson for Nagaland, most observers believe that the disturbance and loss of Tripura's indigenous cultural capital due to decades of unabated influx of illegal immigrants into the state led to the organization to start asserting its indigenous capital and rights. Of course, the party's fight is not against any specific community or religion, but illegal immigrants, according to Deparma. I wrote to Deparma, who, by the way, was my boss many years ago when he was overseeing the Northeast Today publications in Meghalaya. So he was my boss then. I've yet to hear from him in this regard, but if I get any updates from him, I will certainly let you know. As our viewers may already be aware of this perception about illegal immigrants and politics, especially in the context of Tripura, Tripura is often cited as the ultimate example of how migration and illegal immigrants can alter the demographic personality of a state or a people. You may remember that the NPF legislator Ngullie Zonina had said earlier in my talk show that Nagaland was on way to becoming the second Tripura of Northeast India. So according to census, the population of Tripura's 19 scheduled tribes dropped from 63.77% in 1881 to 31.78% in 2011. That's a big fall. This is attributed to the migration of approximately 6.10 lakh immigrants from East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, between 1947 and 1971. This is the scary part. If you consider the language census of 2011, Tripura has 24.14 lakh Bengali speakers. That is twice the 8.87 lakh who speak Kokborok, the language of the largest tribal group. Thank you so much for watching Primetime with Ngullie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a lot of interesting news pieces today, especially in regard to the murder case in Chungtia village of Mokokchung district, and of course the formation of the new Nagaland government, which is scheduled for tomorrow. We will be bringing you more news updates, and we will be going into the stories deeper even more. I'm Ngullie. See you next time.